when we talk about learning the code, we've got to not just think of that 5-year-old who's coming to school for the first time and, with great hopes, but not knowing what's about to hit them. But we also have to think of that child from Mexico who comes here when he's 8, that child from Thailand who comes here when he's 11, that child from any place that comes here at any age, that we don't necessarily have purchase on what's best to do with those kids.
Of English is not their primary language, but that is a language they're going to be asked to learn to read in. That creates a whole other layer.
The words they own, that they learn from their fathers, their mothers, their uncles, their aunts, their brothers and sisters, are not represented in the English print. So right away you have a discrepancy between the language they speak every day out in the neighborhood with their families that are simply not represented in the print that's there.
It turns out that you really do need upwards of 95% of the words in text in order to come away with an understanding and memory of what it said. If there are as many as 5% of the words whose meanings you don't know, you've had it.
Kids who come to this language, not knowing English, which is a huge issue these days with so many millions of immigrants. Not just true in the United States, of course, it's true in it's true in all Western societies, not even just English-speaking societies. The immigration is huge. We've been looking at the research. The National Reading Panel looked at research for Congress to see what the best ways to teach kids to learn to read. And that panel had to be highly selective and pick particular topics that they thought were most important. I was a member of that panel, and we picked a number of topics and went off and found all the research. We looked at 5 different aspects of reading and found more than 400 studies that had been conducted on those things that had been published in the journals. There's another panel in place right now that's looking specifically at those same, it's looking at a wider set of issues, but looking at those same issues with second language learners, with kids who are coming to English as a second language. And we're finding something on the order of 19 or 20 studies of that kind on those kinds of kids. I mean, almost no research. This is an area where we need to invest. Kids who come here, important part of our society. They're going to be an important part of our workplace in the future. If we don't find better ways of succeeding with them, you're going to see literacy levels going down, not up, in the United States, and in fact in other English-speaking countries and Western countries. We need to make sure that the education system reaches out to them well. They're the kids who are most likely to drop out of our schools. They're the kids whose parents are often the most afraid or the least equipped to help their children to do well in school.